Boom.
Showtime. Intro music. Boom. Playing in the background. We'll work on that.
What? Maybe I'll like dub something over. Just get it in, and then it's like,
dude, what? You made that clip art. How come we can't get that in there?
What clip art?
That little graphic you sent me like a year ago. It was like a drawing.
We could do that.
Throw it in there, dude.
Yeah.
With like some old Slim Shady playing or something. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I'm
or like
real shady.
Yeah, Limp Bizkit. I saw that one guy. You had asked for a song request, and the first one was Limp Bizkit, and I was like,
"Yeah,
tell me your brother was born in the '80s, the late '80s, without telling me you're born in the late '80s."
Yeah, Michael's great. He's so they moved here beginning of freshman year to Newton, and he's one of the softball parents. He's awesome. So
I remember when Limp Bizkit came out, we were in Derek's car. I don't know why I remember. Maybe
Blue Shadow.
You were getting a cat, maybe, and
yeah,
we were rolling to Limp Bizkit all the way there and all the way back.
Yeah.
Then everywhere else after we rode with Derek, it was like Limp Bizkit.
That cat was stolen from me.
Yeah.
Great little bit of information here. It was requested. so you know, our first episode, we kind of introduced Dad and Bob.
Yeah.
And so I had a couple people reach out. They're like, is your dad gay? So I don't know if you had that or not, but
I didn't. But I assumed
my dad's not gay. That's just an acronym that this lady went by.
Yeah.
And
big old bitch.
Yeah. I wasn't gonna say it, but I like it. So
yeah. That. Yeah.
So hey, I don't know. This is giving me a message that you have Riverside open in other tabs.
Yes, I do.
So it's telling me close them.
All right, I did. Freaking like the CIA over there.
It's just telling me. I was trying to play around with this because I want to get free on here sometime soon. Would be great.
I don't appreciate it sharing my data with you. I never consented to like
data sharing.
Oh yeah, you can tell my brother if I have multiple apps open. That's none of his damn business.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get off on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
They're even telling me what your other tabs are that are open. So. And let me tell you, Jesus is watching.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But
all right, Riverside.
Yeah. It's actually a pretty neat app. So I've been playing around with it. When we have free on here, we'll have to figure out the whole lobby and everything. Because right now we just join and do we even do a sound check? We're just like, I can hear you, you can hear me. Roll it. So, but yeah.
I mean, do I sound good? We need to do a sound check.
No, you're fine.
Okay.
Have a little baby spit up on your shirt though. So, I had to out.
No, it's before we recorded.
Dude, yeah, that was. Been recording the whole time.
I mean, what's a dad podcast without a little baby spit on your shirt? You know,
no.
That's just proof.
Enjoy it.
We're out there, boys.
So the other thing, like I lean in here and I'm like, I was just checking to make sure I didn't have any bald spots.
Yeah, just a couple.
Yeah, the gray shows up pretty well. So
yeah, Caitlyn just said I have some gray coming in.
Good.
Oh, she said my beard, but
my chin. You can probably see it right now, but my chin has gray right here.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Same. I kind of like it. Matter of fact, we met with this guy at work. So part of my job is to schedule meetings with like executive HR people.
Mm-hmm.
And a guy last Friday, he was kind of like half gray, half dark haired. And I was like, man, this guy's looking pretty smooth.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got to aspire to look like that. He's like, I don't know, just a well put together older man.
Yeah, can you? I know they have like just for men to make you like darker. Can you do gray to look like
I'd
distinguished?
imagine. That's what I don't get. Like, so I saw another guy a couple weeks ago who like it looked purpose, where it was like his goatee was like gray, and like I don't know, it just looked like he had someone professionally design the gray in his hair.
So, do you remember when Dad was in prison? He's kind of, I don't know, it's been a while, right? So on his badge photo, he has that same like full on gray, like
Oh,
it's white. And
so we have a thing.
yeah, so one of the inmates took his picture, flipped it around, and was like, "Your face is a rabbit's ass." I don't know. He had some funny
Yeah,
stories on those, but speaking of him, happy birthday,
yeah.
Dad.
Happy birthday.
Yeah,
We had him over
did
today.
you?
Yeah, it's
Is
pretty
that
sweet.
why he didn't answer my Facebook post for all day? So
Yeah, we were. So one thing I like to do with Dad, and I might have mentioned this to you before, but like he comes over, I get a big, nice pot of coffee rolling. Yeah, we
mhm.
talked about this.
Yeah,
That's one way to get him just to like tell stories and
yeah,
to go deep in conversation. Caitlyn, she probably gets a little like tired of the stories, but I'm just into them
yeah. He
until
has good
Trump
ones.
comes
He
out.
has great ones. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you?
yeah. We made it all the way to the final hour, and it was like I'd mentioned something about Caitlyn's family member that also doesn't appreciate Trump as much, and then he was like down a rabbit hole. We lost him for a
Yeah,
second.
cat's out of the bag at that
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
yeah. But no, yeah, we had him over. It was funny because Caitlyn, super scheduler,
Hmm.
and she didn't write this down in the calendar. Like we invited Dad on his birthday to come over, and so she comes in at like 9:30 this morning. It's like, you got to get up. I'm like, what? She's like, your dad's on his way here. And I go, what? Yeah. So we kind of scrambled, and Dad, he's not expecting much, but we wanted to have like a little cake and stuff, but
Yeah.
we just we did tacos and then had like a pie because our grocery store doesn't make cakes apparently.
You know what his favorite cake is?
No.
I don't know what it is currently, but I believe it used to be German chocolate.
Oh.
So a little coconut in there.
Yeah, I got him a pecan, like turtle pecan pie. Seemed
Oh,
like a
I don't.
dad thing.
Yeah, he probably enjoyed it. So.
Yeah, he did. And I know
Hmm.
that they like watch their blood sugars and stuff, and
Hmm.
so they show up. I have donuts, like donuts and coffee,
Yeah.
and then we had the pecan pie. I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to like end our dad, just filling
You're
him
like,
up with sugars.
you're like, you just trying to get the
Maybe.
inheritance early, aren't
Yeah,
you?
just yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Quicker you're gone, the quicker I can get that million, boy.
Yeah. There's no million, just so anybody listening.
Yeah, they're like, he's $1 million.
Yeah, these kids are jerks.
Mm.
But
He might. He might.
he could. You
He's
never
just
know.
never telling anyone.
Buried under a
He's
bridge in
like,
Texas.
child support was his word for
Yeah.
401k.
I've
That's
been
not
paying.
funny.
I've been paying back child support for 40 years.
Dude, I'm gonna tell little Johnny that and Cleo
uh,
as they grow up. I'll be like, we're broke.
I was,
All that money is going to child support. They're like, what?
well, so a little clarification for people listening, like just the way the state's screwed up system is and everything else. My dad was paying for child support for me while he had custody of me for, well, pretty much my entire life. So from 10 years old and on, they were still
Just
taking child support, and the state wouldn't do anything to help him. And
sending money out
yeah,
into the bliss.
yeah, no, I can tell you,
It
yeah,
landed.
what a mess that is. But
Yeah.
But when it's messy, that's the way it is. So
Yeah.
how's the kids?
Doing wonderful. I
Yeah.
mean,
I love
same old.
seeing the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. Well, for anyone like keeping track of the stories, because I posted it on Snapchat, but we made it to Texas Roadhouse. So I kind of forgotten that I'd told the story, and then Quentin and Gavin reached out and they're like, "Oh, you finally made it! Like, pumped for you!" And I'm like, "Oh yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, it's been a journey to get there."
So speaking of the super planner and Gavin and Quentin,
Yeah,
but Zoe and Co too, your wife confirmed that our Gladiator Assault Run is at 11 in the morning. So
yeah, some switching of schedules maybe.
well, I'm just all about having EMS ready for me. So like you remember the
I
Spartan
do.
run?
I
So
know.
I'm trying to walk around Mall of America and every muscle in my toes and legs and feet were cramping up, and I was like, "You guys are gonna have to carry me back to the hotel." Some
Wait,
things,
did we go to the Mall of America?
yeah, because we ate at Bubba Gump's, and we're like,
Oh
"Oh, we're gonna,"
yeah,
and it was a terrible decision because that's like on the second or third floor, and
that's
I
right.
was having I was having a hard time moving.
Yeah,
Um, that was
so
brutal.
so we gotta do it again. We're
Yeah,
just
so
older and more out of shape than we were.
yeah, you were still in football shape.
I know. I'm not now. I'm not now.
The best part of that whole thing was you were talking about how you're going to run with Danny and I, and we're all going to stay together.
Yep, I do
10
remember.
seconds, 10 seconds in, you're like, "Hey, do you guys care if I take off?" And then I didn't see you for a
And
couple hours.
I know. I was like, that was like a dog that just got off his leash. I was like, I gotta
Oh yeah,
run. I saw people
yeah,
running and it looked fun, which is weird to say. And I
yeah,
wanted in on it.
yeah.
Yeah.
We were in a running store today. Actually, we took Mac up to get some new running shoes because track starts this week. And man, I'm looking at all. I'm like checking out all the little salt tablets and stuff they have.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll probably be needing to buy those, and
Yeah.
it's
Like the
yeah,
instant energy carb. Yeah.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah. Could be rough.
Yeah, we'll have
Which
to have a race. We'll have a race podcast with the Gavin
with the
and those
crew,
guys.
yeah,
Yeah. Before and
yeah.
after.
So, do you remember the names that we put into the system? Because
I knew they were dumb.
they were super dumb. Uh, because I was registering everybody, and it's like, "What's your team name?" And then I'm like, "Well, I'm in the middle of registering," so I try to hit everybody on Snapchat,
Yeah.
and I'm not really getting any answers. And
Yeah.
then so I'm like, "Screw it." We put in like Zoe and her dogs or something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm old dog. I don't
we're
remember what everybody else is.
gonna dress up like dogs.
Uh,
You gotta
we
like play the
could,
theme, don't you? Or is this
yeah.
a serious? Like, I feel like we're gonna be idiots and like show up dumb.
People are doing this for money. I don't even like. It's just something fun to do. So
Okay.
I keep playing in my mind the Russian from Rocky.
Yeah.
If he dies, he dies. Like that's what I'm like. So every time I'm in the gym, so I've been working out, four times a week. Except this last week I was sick. I was out Tuesday and Wednesday. I just slept the whole time.
Yeah.
And then Friday my cough came back, and I just couldn't so got it under control today. But um, I keep thinking, even lifting and
Yeah.
doing the elliptical and doing some running, I'm like, this is gonna hurt so bad. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot, so oh well.
I'm with you. I still haven't touched the treadmill, so
Ooh, that's gonna be rough. 3 months, man.
yeah, you're telling me I'm at the heaviest I've ever weighed in my life. I'm
So,
going to die.
so the Spartan run in Minnesota. I'm gonna go back. You've heard this story, I think. Well, you lived this story, but we registered for that thing like 8 months in advance,
Yeah.
and I remember telling Danny, I'm like, hey, we got 8 months to train, like,
it's plenty of time.
So, yeah. So a couple weeks before the race, I'm like, hey, we should probably start training. so we didn't. We just were like, we'll just go and do it. And I'll share the picture in the chat on the comments on YouTube. I'll share that picture if I can do that. I don't know if I can, or at least a link to it on Facebook or something. But we're in the car driving up there. I don't know if you remember this conversation. And Danny opens up the website and everything. She's like, did you know this course is mountainous? And I'm like, mountainous? What mountains are in Minnesota? I'm like, there's no mountains in Minnesota. And then she's like, well, it says mountainous. And so we go to the
it's a big term.
Town. Yeah, we go to the town, and I think it's Hastings, Minnesota, something like that. Well, there's a ski resort in that town. And we pull in, and you pull into that big field, and all the cars are parked in a field, and we're getting out, and I'm nervous because I'm like, we're gonna die. And there was another couple there that was, the guy was about my size, and the girl was about Danny's size, and we're like, yeah, see, they did it, we can do it, this will be great, because they're leaving. And so we're like, how was it? And the guy's like, I never want to see another hill again. And I was like, oh my gosh, I screwed up. So
dang.
Well, and then we go in there and we're getting ready and all that other stuff, and you start the race, and you go 30 feet, and then you start going down the ski slope.
Yeah.
And I remember telling Danny, because at this point you're gone. I'm like, don't worry, we're gonna get to the bottom. We're gonna do some obstacles, and we're just gonna come right back up.
Yeah,
and it's gonna be done. We get down to the bottom, and it opens up into that big clearing, and you can see because it's a herd of people just going, and you can see them turn in the corner, and so as it opens up, you look over there, and they're going right back up the hill.
Oh yeah, people are crawling like bears because it's so steep.
Yeah. So we get up that, and the quads are burning, and I think even at one point I turned around and I'm going backwards just because
save muscle.
Yeah. And I'm like, Danny, there's no way they would make us do that again. Just hang with me here. So, long story short, we go down again, up again, down again, and up again. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, we're going to die. And I didn't say anything to anybody, but I had the needles popping in my head, when you're getting ready to pass out.
Yeah.
And that was going up one of the hills, and I'm like, I'm not saying a word because I'm trying to keep Danny moving. Yeah. So that was brutal. So anyway, yeah, that was a lot of up and down.
That is funny.
And then the obstacles were made out of 2x4s, so you're 20 feet in the air.
Oh yeah.
And it's all these people, and it's swaying, and the rope nets.
Yep.
Do you remember those?
Yep.
Danny froze up on it, and she's like, these are gonna break, and I'm like, come on, keep going. And so I keep going. Well, she couldn't. Well, this guy was nice enough, and he's like, here, let me help you put your hand here, and helped her across there. So I'm like, great, I'm a jerk for not helping my wife and everything. Yeah. And he is he's a great guy about it. We don't even know him, but
yeah.
Anyway, you remember you get to the last bit, and there's that you're way up there, and you climb.
Oh, yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It was half of it was blocked off because the net had broken.
Oh.
And you were so far ahead of us. I don't know if it was a problem when you were there, but by the time we got there, half of the obstacles. So they're putting us all on one rope net instead of the two. So then you're like, well, this doesn't seem any safer.
There's a dead body down there.
Yeah.
Just swallow it off.
So,
wow.
So Quentin, Zoe, Gavin, Co. We are veterans at this, and you're probably going to lose, or you're going to need to carry me out. So, best part of that whole thing, do you remember leaving and having to pull over?
No. Is that you?
Danny was throwing up.
Danny.
No, Danny was throwing up.
It could have been any of us. Yeah, it was her, though.
Yeah. No, I just seized up in the Mall of America, and that wasn't good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was a free softball to the face. So I'm interested to see, like, I'm going to be a little more timid.
Just let it go. The good news is if you tear something early, you don't have to do the whole race.
Yeah.
Like, so stretch, I'll let the first mile be my stretch.
Well, yeah. I mean, and shout out to accident insurance. If I blow my knee, we're solid, dude.
Hey, I wonder if we can get Affleck to kind of do a little sponsorship here so they can pay for our subscription or something.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. But yeah, so looking forward to that. That's 3 months away. So get you running.
I'm not ready for that.
You might have to do like the Couch to 5K program or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get it.
For sure. But which my doctor's like, hey, I had a doctor visit on Friday and he's not happy with me. So I'm like,
numbers
hey,
are not looking good.
Yeah, stuff's not looking good. So I'm like, dude, I'm doing the Gladiator Assault. Everything will be fine. Like,
yeah, you're like, I'm drinking sugar-free Kool-Aid, man. What's your problem?
Yeah. Can you, hey.
I thought of this, John. Don't worry.
Oh, it's so good. I can't stop drinking. But I also take a bunch of drinks too because my throat gets tickly still. Like,
yeah.
And I'm trying not to cough all in the mic. So, but
yeah.
So, yeah, kids are good. Caitlyn's doing good.
Oh yeah.
Good.
Yeah, we're planning on doing like an add-on, like a build. So of course she's like dove pretty deep into that, and it's kind of funny because we did like a little rough drawing because we're gonna have to get an architect to like draw it all up, and so she read somewhere if we do it before we give the architect the drawing and kind of scale it, it'll save him a ton of time, which means a lot of money for us that he won't have to waste on the drawing. So we have that drawn up. She's probably out there staring at it right now, just like thinking, strategizing.
It's exciting.
Yeah. And then so I don't know if you know much about like general contracting, but she's thinking about doing it herself, which is like a lot of scheduling and like keeping people, the different trades in line and scheduled. So we're a little nervous about that because, I mean, she can definitely do it. She's like pumped where if it goes well, she's like, dude, what if I'm just a general contractor like moving forward? Because you don't have to have a license. Like, and that's like right down her alley, like calling people, pricing things, and then scheduling it. That's why she like, she's interested in like the wedding planning and might venture down that someday.
Yeah.
But she's like, this could be my gig, man. Like, it's everything I love.
Mike would be a good resource, right, to bounce things off of.
Oh, yeah.
Like, hey, don't forget, don't miss this step, you know.
Yeah, and as he retires and stuff, like, it makes sense. But
yeah,
and she'd have to learn, obviously, because I think general contractors have to, like, check out issues and what's not going well. So
just watch some YouTube videos. YouTube videos at it. So, did I tell you what I did? So you know how mechanically inclined I am not with cars.
I think you're pretty good since the go-kart days. You kind of you know your way around.
Not as afraid to mess something up. So we Danny's Jeep, we had to do a little work. So replaced an oil pressure sensor.
Okay.
And then some plenum gaskets and intake gaskets.
Ew.
Yeah, I'm like
gasket work. You're like, I can do that.
I'm like, I'm gonna try to do that. And
that's awful.
It was. My hands are too like they don't work the way I want them to work anyways. Like like I have torn up hands.
Yeah.
I can't wrists don't flex the way they're supposed to and everything. That's why I have to do push-ups with the fists. Like I can't do because they don't work. But there's whenever I'd get really irritated, I'd just stop and be like, nope, come back to it later. That's that was the perks of having
Oh my God.
3 cars, right? So I was able to just like, okay, we'll just leave it alone. So something that started last weekend, I finished up Friday night, I think. Yeah, Friday night. So we're up and running again. So
Nice.
I know I was so nervous because I've never done that, and
I don't know if you're a bad mechanic because you like walked away. It seems too mature. Or if like this is the evolution of man. Like dad was the monkey that like threw his wrench and like freaked out, and then you're the next level of evolution of like maybe I should just step away for a second.
I've been learning a lot about myself, so yeah, that's well, and there's a couple times that so Danny's hands are a lot smaller.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey Danny, can you reach in there and get, So I was gonna snap a picture because she was up on a step stool, like in the car, and like so I was gonna snap a picture and send it to you and be like, the only thing missing is me holding a flashlight and getting yelled at. But no, it was awesome. It was great. Tyler came over and helped me a little bit on one of those nights. But
nice. How's he doing? It's been a long time.
Yeah, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's working on a bounce back. So
comeback story, baby.
Yeah, those are good. Mm-hmm. So I'm all about them.
I love them.
Mm-hmm.
It's never too late. I just posted that on Daryl's. Daryl made a post, and I was like, dude, he's just such a good comeback story too, of like making the wrong decisions, and then obviously is on the straight and narrow, and like obviously in his is like religious guidance, and that's cool too. Not my cup of tea, but I think it's I just had to let him know, I'm like, your story is such a cool comeback story. It's never too late,
Yeah.
Same with that. That absolutely. As well. Yeah.
Yeah. And then, well, and I think about, and we haven't really talked much about our other siblings too much, but I think Gary.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Gary for sure.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
That one gives me goosebumps, man. So
yeah, no kidding.
But he's awesome.
Yep.
So other than that, man, what else happened this week? I was sick, so I don't even remember much of the week. Just I got projects I got to catch up on for work, things like that. I got some promises out there. I got to probably work a couple nights this week to get caught up. But
yeah, I took tomorrow off. You got the day off?
Did you? The kids do. I do not.
Yeah. Now you're like, whole week of being sick. What's another day?
Well, so I know. And if I have coworkers that are going to be like,
start your podcast.
Start your podcast, you loser.
Drink too much sugar-free Kool-Aid. Can't come into work.
Yeah. You got a tummy ache? I have nothing scheduled. No meetings. I'd be bailing.
Sounds like a good day.
Well, the kids are off school. And that's the only reason I'm looking at this. The kids are off, so
yeah.
Maybe that's worth a drive over to the big city of Atlantic with the kids.
Oh yeah.
I gotta check it. I haven't been over there now, so and Rhett would love it, I'm sure. He's been wanting to go over there. Oh, he's also wants to see little Johnnie. So
that's so cute.
He asked about him, and I'm like, yeah, I said, yeah. So
yeah,
so
that's
maybe
his little Johnnie. That's his buddy.
Little homie.
Yeah. So. Red's so good with. God, it almost makes me feel like I should have had another kid. Yeah, Red's such a good brother.
Dude, he's a good dude. So little thing, so basketball, like Rhett's doing basketball. And he has a coach this season that is actually the coach of our junior high boys and girls programs here in town. I don't know what grade, 7th or 8th or whatever. But I think he's got a couple other dads that help out. And I don't know if this is right or wrong, whatever, but I don't want to coach Rhett. I coach Mac. Obviously I was hard on her, like all that stuff. But Rhett's different. Rhett doesn't respond the same way Mac does. And So I knew that wasn't good for us.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, so I haven't pushed him very hard on any sports. Um, but basketball, man, he is just getting better and better. So last weekend, he had a couple parents come up and they're like, "Dude, you're really getting much better." Like,
Yeah.
and so we kind of were like, "Hey, did you hear that?" On the way home, and just kind of, hey, see what
Feeling him
happens
out.
when you kind
Yeah.
of listen, and we usually battle with him every time, like baseball games and basketball. He's like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go. And then he gets there and he just has a good time.
Yeah.
But so this week he did not. He was ready to go. Up early. Excuse me. He was ready to go.
Doing his
So,
push-ups in his room.
oh, dude, yeah, so we didn't have to like fight him on anything.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. We get there and his coaches are awesome. So the main coach, and then there's two other dads that do a great job. And I think even the head coach's wife will hop in and help. But anyway, you could tell he's full of confidence
Yeah.
Saturday, and there's no passing going on. Everybody thinks they're Iverson and they're going to
Mhm.
So anyway, he had a couple of those, but it's fun to watch, and he's been having a lot of fun. So, which he got a couple more parents saying like, hey, but we really got to work on that passing, man. So,
Yeah.
but it's fun. It's awesome to see him finally like come out of that shell because he's athletic. I know he's athletic. It's just
Yeah.
nobody else gets to see that because he kind of hides it.
Yeah.
And same thing with baseball. So like he doesn't want to do baseball. Not going to force him to do it. My favorite sport, softball and baseball. But he wants to play basketball and he wants to golf. And I'm all about that. Bought him some golf clubs. Go to the simulator, go out to the course. We'll do that. But baseball, the last year we did that, I don't even think he really came out of the dugout. Like he didn't even want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
And so I was just super annoyed by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we get him back, and last game of the season, Danny's like, if you don't try, you're getting extra chores.
Yeah.
Like
Put the hammer down.
They put him at first base, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like if he doesn't try at first base, and granted, it was I think 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, so dude balled out, like did amazing. And the coach's wife turned around and was like, where did this kid come from? And we're like, well, we threatened him with chores. So, but like it's just, I don't know, if he's not interested, he's not going to try that hard, and you got to work to get him interested. So
Yeah.
kind of, yeah, he's a different dude. So, but
yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna push or anything. I just
you can't.
Let him enjoy.
Yeah, I always think the same thing right now because Johnny's 3.5, and it's like if every day we're outside and I grab the wiffle ball bat, he'll eventually love baseball, right? Like maybe I should just have the MLB on every time he comes in. Just slowly like groom my kid to want to play baseball.
I'll just let you know, it hasn't worked for Rhett yet. Like, kid can smash it. Like when he hits, he can smash the ball. Zero interest.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, we still do it, right? Like we still go out in the yard and hit, or go to the fields and hit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Just
he
likes to do that.
Yeah.
But he doesn't want to go play games. Like at one point he asked me, does there have to be a loser? And I'm like, well, yeah, it's probably not going to be you, just trying to hype him up. And he's like, I don't want anybody to lose. And I'm like, okay,
dang.
All right. You've been around your grandpa too much lately.
Softy.
But
no, that's cool too, though. Like, I actually just said it today because we have family night with Caitlyn's family, and her brothers are athletes and all that. And I think they were kind of just asking, like, same question: do you want Johnny to play baseball or football and stuff? And I'm just like, I don't know, man. Like, he's just a sweetheart, and like, if he was like Rhett in that sense of like he just didn't want someone else to have to lose, I think I'd be winning as a parent. That's a freaking
cool statement.
And I don't, maybe like the older generation, just like, that's not preparing your kid for the world. But like, I think we have enough like tough people. We need some people with like big hearts, like in the world.
Yeah.
And if I supply a young man that's like that, I know he's going to take care of his kids and family. Like, isn't that the most important thing? Like,
yeah.
So I love that. I hope he's.
It was one of those.
Yeah.
One of those. I was like, I can't really argue with that reasoning. So
yeah, and like the turn of that is like, I played football to hurt people. Like, I didn't play to. It wasn't like a win or a loss. It was like, if they went to the ER, we're doing something productive. Other than that, it's like, wouldn't even care if we won or lost.
I want to hit them so hard they just want to quit in the middle of the game.
Yeah, I'm just like, it's a therapy session for me, and like, no one wants their daughter dating that. Unfortunately. Luckily, I matured from that, but like, I don't want my kid like that. Hell no.
Do you ever like? I remember going back and watching like you play your senior year of high school.
Yeah,
and I just like, if I was a parent on another team and I saw some of that, I'd be like, get my kid off the field.
Same. Yeah, I think about it all the time, actually. I just like, you kind of obviously remember those bigger hits, like, and I remember hits where I'm like, well, one in particular was the coach's son on their sideline, HLV, and I just smoked him. Like, his neck probably hit the back of his calves, like, just snapped him in two in front of his dad. It's like, I thought it was the coolest thing I could have ever done in my life. But if I was that dad, I would probably go to jail for drop kicking a freaking minor, dude. I'd be like, yeah. So I think about that all the time. I'm like, and especially Class A, you have quarterback that's 110 pounds because he's the only kid on the team that can't fumble or whatever the reason is.
Yeah.
And I was like, 210, 215 at like 6'3", just spearing him into the dirt. Like,
yeah.
I can't.
It was fun to watch. It's fun to watch from an aspect of you doing it to other people, but like if my kid was getting that done to him,
I could live without seeing that. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so good times there.
It would break my heart, to be honest, to see your kid get hit like that.
One of my favorites, Winfield Mountain Union, I think is what. No, that's South.
Danville?
So this was GMG.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You guys were kicking off, and I don't know why you were even a gunner out there.
Oh, we were full on, dude. Our senior year, I basically, me and a couple of the leaders were like, we're not doing this sophomore freshman kickoff. This is our game. It's our team. There's 13 of us. We can be on the field the whole freaking game. Let's figure it out.
Yeah.
So we had a full kickoff team of seniors, full kick return of seniors. Oh yeah, we weren't playing around.
So I remember, were you on the outside then?
Yeah, because, I'm like second in. Yeah, like gunner.
The other part too is I don't know how many middle linebackers / offensive tackles / D tackles
punt returner
are also.
I was punt returner. Yeah.
Yeah. So those are just silly videos to watch. But I remember, and you hear it on the old game film, but you went down and they set up like a 3-man wedge on the return.
Yeah.
And you blew up all 3 of them and still kept going and then got the returner. Yeah. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So, good old days.
Yeah. When you were at Simpson though, your last year.
Yeah.
I was like, it's kind of different how that evolves when you're watching some of this stuff. Like I'm watching you in high school. I'm like, yeah, tear them up. And then as you're going through college, I'm like, man, I hope you can walk later. You know, like, so that's it's always kind of.
Well, and that's exactly. I don't know how like NFL players or even like D1 athletes. I mean, obviously it's 10 times faster, and I mean, like when I went to the Shrine Bowl and I went against James Morris. a freshman All-American linebacker at Iowa. Like, holy shit, that's a different level of football.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how those dudes, like, walk in the next day, on Sunday morning. Because I had a rough time in D3 and, like, I was, 22, 23 in my prime.
Yeah. Well, and I remember we went out to eat after one of your games, and, like, your entire leg was black and blue all the way down it. Like, the blood had drained all the way down your leg.
Yeah.
You almost look like an avatar, but dark purple.
Yeah. That was in
That's pretty well.
spring or like the fall training before the season.
Yeah.
I kept getting a cut blocked, and I apparently didn't learn how to play off a cut block. I was just taking helmets after helmet on the same shin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is cool because it actually gave me a little bit of kudos from Coach Glow, because I mean, that's pretty tough. Then I just I put a pad on it, found like an old knee pad, and I taped it around the bruise, and I just kept going out to practice. And then Coach Glow called me out one day. He's like, Johnny's first year here, and he's willing to lose his leg to play. And some of you have, ingrown toenails, and you're hanging out on the sideline.
What is you ever watch the movie Miracle?
Yeah.
About the 1980 hockey team?
Yeah.
Always a bruise is a long way from the heart, you candy ass, or whatever it is. Herb Brooks, he had some good ones. But...
Yeah.
But...
Old school mentality. I probably, looking back now, I'm like, I could have took care of myself a little bit better.
Yeah.
Probably a reason I drool on myself every once in a while,
Yeah. Like, what was I doing?
Yeah. Snap out of it.
Yes, sir.
Well, we kind of went down a different lane tonight, but
yeah, certainly.
Yeah.
You want to squeeze back over to clean up some of that stuff?
Yeah.
I had some. So I have a friend that has kept track.
Yeah.
Essentially, every time we've said we'll get to that later, or something like that. So, gonna kind of pivot to go into some of the stuff that we were talking about.
Yeah.
On day one. So I'm finding this list here.
Okay.
So stuff that is on here. We clarified Bob. That was one of those things. And then family tree. So wanted to get some more explanation on that, and we'll do that as we go. Why did you go live with your dad at 9? Foster care, and then just some other stuff. Like, have some stuff they want to talk about. And are you taking notes on this?
Am I? No.
Oh, you're just Googling off to the side. No, like, I'm not even listening.
No, I'm gonna try. I'm gonna attempt something.
Just a second. No, Riverside's telling me, whoa, I don't know if I should say that on camera.
What happened?
What you're looking at. No.
You said no.
And then just a little bit more about us growing up in New Sharon, like when it was just us three and Dad. We talked about Danny and Caitlyn, and then just some more stuff. So we had initially talked about, when I texted you, I said, hey, do you just want me to cover a little bit of Arkansas?
Yeah.
So we still want to do that. What do you want to do?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if we make a segment of what we were going to talk about, or what was the words that you used? Things we're coming back to.
Yeah, like stuff we're coming back to.
Yeah.
No, there's just some questions, and you know what's really cool is I've had several people like, hey, we loved listening to that. People I wouldn't even expect to have, and my expectation was nobody was going to listen to this anyway. So
yeah.
So I don't know how much you know about me growing up in Arkansas. I'm not gonna there's no way I can talk about all of it, but I can, kind of give you some background on growing up in Arkansas for me, and kind of how we got to me being in foster care, and then how that ended up with me moving to Iowa. So, sound good?
Mm-hmm.
Got any question? Like, if you have questions or anything, feel free to stop me and be like, "Hey, that doesn't make sense," or "What that?" Um, so we'll go. We'll just start there, and we'll go wherever that conversation kind of takes us. So, um, I really just wanted to. There's a lot of activity and a lot of movement in this.
Yeah.
So some of this I don't know. I don't remember the exact order, and I don't remember. Like I remember a lot of different people. We moved a lot, and so um, if we, my phone just rang. I need to make sure. I don't know if you heard that or not.
I did.
But uh, so I need to go back to like just as an understanding. So between kindergarten and the end of first grade, I remember attending 7 schools, and in there's some back and forth that I don't remember. Like I've been to several of these schools several times. So kindergarten, I went to London Elementary, London, Arkansas. Went to a school in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, and then a school, I don't remember the name of it, on the northeast side of Russellville. I don't remember the name of this school at all. I was there briefly. It felt like a couple weeks, could have been a little longer, I don't know. But then in first grade, so that was kindergarten, and then in first grade went back to London, then Knoxville, Arkansas, and then that's when we eventually went to Russellville and Oakland Heights Elementary and Sequoia Elementary. So like I remember those. I don't remember the order, and I don't remember how often I was in and out of those. So that was kind of like when we get into the story. Remember, there's a lot of moving around and all that stuff. So, talk to you a little bit how we remember Dad, or I remember Dad when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a lot of moving in and out of different places during that time as well. So Dad was just like a stepping stone in there, as you know, from going A to B to C. But the earliest I remember, as far as like probably the 4 years old area, 3 and 4 years old, was London, and that's where my mom was married to a guy named Mike, and Mike was a Mike was interesting. So you're gonna hear some stuff that you're gonna be like, "Holy cow, that's real life!" And I'm like, "Yeah, 100%." So it's the '90s. It's Arkansas, and we lived in London, and we lived up on, you call it a mountain if you live in Iowa, but in Arkansas it's a hill, like just up the hill or whatever. But we called it Blueberry Hill, and that was just what our family called it. Like, and so my family, so at that point was my mom, my older brother and sister Gentry and Travis, and then me. And she married Mike, who had 2 boys, Michael Jr. and Nathan. So you got 4 boys. I'm 4. Nathan was 5. Michael was probably a couple years older than Nathan, and then Travis was, about a year or two older than Michael. And dude, we were hellions. We just ran. That's all we had lived out in the country. We could run and do whatever we want. Woods out in the back. Like I remember we got lost in the woods. Nathan and I did one time, and our dog actually found us and brought us home. Like
That's
he's a
crazy.
pit bull. Yeah, a pit bull named Killer. And there was an old strip mine up on that hill that we'd go down there, and it's just wild. So wild times, '90s. It was just I don't know. But Mike was an interesting guy. He treated me super well, and like I was the youngest, and I felt like I got away with like a lot of stuff. We used to go out and make bow and arrows and shoot them at each other. Well, I was a pretty violent little kid, and like I'd get pissed and shoot people in the face and stuff with these bow and arrows, and like is and some of that violence you'll get to understand here, in a minute. But I don't know if I've told you any of this stuff. So anyway, we're running around like, little banshees all over the place. And but Mike owned his own construction company and, worked hard, provided for the family, but he also played pretty hard. So 90s, like I said, lots of drugs, lots of parties, lots of stuff, right? So um, and he's a prideful guy, and he and my mom would fight a lot, and he could get pretty violent, right? So um, but even more so, like just the people in the crowd that they hung out with was pretty wild.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, and these I remember very. One time we were at his dad's house, so Mike's dad's house, step grandpa kind of a situation. They're having a party there, and my mom got in a fight with Mike's sister, and they were like arguing and fighting and stuff. And um, his sister ended up stabbing my mom in the knee, and pretty, like they told her she would never walk again, and things like that. So obviously cops and all kinds of crazy stuff. And so like that's the kind of stuff that we would that was regular, right? So I remember one time, same people involved were at our house, and all of a sudden we're getting rushed into a bedroom and told to duck and cover because somebody got a gun out and was pissed, and they shot a hole in the wall, and his little 22 pistol. But Mike did construction, so it was no big deal. He just fixed the wall, and everybody's good to go, right? But he had this basement, and I air quote basements because Arkansas, there's not really much for basements. It's hard to dig in the ground there and stuff, but down there it was a pool table, and that was like the big party area, right? Like on the weekends, the kids kind of stayed out of there because like stuff was, going down.
Yeah.
So lots of, not going down, but they're just people having a good time, and it'd get carried away.
Yeah.
So that was about 4 to 6 years old, like lots of crazy stuff. But the other thing, and I don't know the full details on this one. I don't remember the guy's name. I think it was Lawrence. But like Mike had anger issues, and I don't know if he took a box cutter or if it was like a razor blade. But that guy's face got cut up over some women stuff. Yeah, so I'd have to ask Travis if he remembers. So Travis, my older brother, if he remembers that guy's name. But that one I didn't see. So that one I'm like thankful I didn't see because I don't handle blood very well.
Yeah. But still, it's crazy that you were 3 or 4, and you're what, 37 now, and you're like, I remember that. That's crazy.
Dude, so yeah, these are things I don't really talk too much about because what's the point? But
yeah,
so Mike was very, like I said, Mike was good to me, personally, but it just wasn't an environment, that I think DHS would be super excited about. So like I said, my mom and Mike fought all the time. That was like when it was good, like, and I don't know, I've told Danny this. I'm like, when it was good, Mike was a good guy.
Yeah.
Like it was, but, and I don't put all of that on him because I'm sure my mom was, I know my mom, she's super difficult, but like when it was going bad, it was bad.
Yeah.
It was real bad. Like, so there'd be times he'd be off work and, like I'm 4, right? So everybody else is at school, and, they would be fighting, and my mom's like, all right, let's go, we're leaving. And I'd go to get in the car, and I remember it was I don't know what the year was, but it was a brown, I want to say a Caprice, like so it's this brown boat car.
Yeah.
Like it was the ugliest car I've ever seen. But those old, like, and it might have been late 80s, early 90s, something like that. It was big, long, heavy doors, and they were fighting, and I went to get in, and he slammed the door like, no, you're not going anywhere. Well, my hand was caught, like it shut on my hand.
Ooh.
And like, and like, I know that wasn't his intent because right then that fight was over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he, wasn't trying to hurt me or anything like that, but just part of it. But one of the other, and this one's a crazy one. I was thinking about this. Another fight, same situation. My older brothers and sister at school, and they're fighting, and we get in the car, my mom and I, and like she's got to get it turned around and go down the driveway. We had this big long driveway. It was a great place. Like I said, we're out in the country. We get a lot of, I don't know, a lot of room, a lot of freedom. But this one's a little. They were fighting. It was a bad one, and we get turned around. And by the time we get turned around, he's got a shotgun out. Like he's went in the house, got the shotgun out, and he's loading. And I remember getting down in my mom's like, get in the floorboard. And, so we're like flooring it down this drive, and I'm like 4. And,
holy cow.
And here, like my 4-year-old mind, I can't remember, like, you just hear noises. And so you're just like, and I think at that point, I don't know. It's hard to like explain feelings and stuff like that when you're just kind of like numb at the moment. But I also learned like that, like safety, the quiet is safe, so in the floorboard, once the noises are gone and we're gone, like I'm safe, right? So I remember thinking that, and I have conversations. I'm kind of shaky on this one, but like I have conversations with my mom, or I had conversations, and the part that is hard for me to understand when I talk to her about some of this stuff is it's not a big deal. Like, but you're fine. But you're fine. I'm like, but people shouldn't have to go through stuff like that. So
yeah.
So so Mike is going to be a reoccurring theme, right? Like, so as we're going, because much like Dad had, people he went back to.
Yeah.
My mom did too. So that wasn't the last time, that we didn't leave Mike at that point. They did whatever, and which is wild to think that you get shot at and you're like, I love you.
No, so hold on, he did shoot the gun.
So there, yeah. So
at the car?
That's when I'm in the floorboard, like that's what I'm talking. Like you're listening for silence, like
yeah.
And so nothing, nobody hurt, nothing like that. But you just like it was an environment of
it's trauma. I mean.
Anger all the time. Like people are angry all the time. So anyway.
Yeah. It's just it's so different as well for me. I'm sure the same for you. Once you like, I think before I became a dad, it was just like, yeah, that was life, and like I didn't get hurt. Like to your point, it's like, yeah, but we made it. And then you become a dad, and you're like, I wouldn't even let my kid sit in the car without his seatbelts on, like without like his booster seat and stuff. Like I wouldn't even let him catch a glimpse of like a scary movie on the TV, and like you can go down everything. Like we don't want him to see real guns. Like I don't want him to see any of that stuff. And then like you're like in the dashboard of a, you're living this like nightmare. And it's just that's way too much for a 4-year-old.
Well, and you like, so I don't know. I'd seen my brother. My brother is little. You remember Travis? Like he's like 5'4" maybe. But I remember him like when Mike and my mom were fighting, and he's probably 11 or 12, maybe 13. And he tries to jump in and stop him, and like he gets thrown across the floor, and and into a wall or something. I'm just like, so it is I don't even know how to explain it, but you just see that and you grow up with that, and then like you're like that's normal, right?
Yeah.
But so that's kind of how that was, and then so
well I gotta pause because I had a thought. It's like it's normal for the circumstance that we live in. Obviously, now that we're older, you like reflect
Yeah.
and like, I think what's cool about this too, that we're letting people kind of listen in, is because no one talks about. There's people like us also that have lived through this crazy stuff, and like
Mhm.
they just don't talk about it. Like, you know,
So
it's taboo or scary to like just voice it out into the world. Like, I love that, like we're sharing this stuff and you're sharing it, because it's like empower
is
other
it?
people to just own what has happened. Let's never let that happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of like I don't. These are things I don't talk about. No, I'm hoping that. All right, so we're kind of back here. I don't know if this is. Hopefully that doesn't erase what we had recorded. So um, that would suck.
Yeah.
Uh, we'll just delete it, and that's all right. We'll never talk about it again.
Yeah.
No, so Mike was, you know, it was crazy. Up and down is pretty wild. So trying to think, like there was a lot of movement after that. Like I remember we stayed at a guy named Cecil's house, and Cecil apparently was somebody that my mom's dad. He worked for my mom's dad at one time. Um, we moved we moved in with a, and that wasn't anything like relationship wise. That was out of convenience, right? And then we moved in with a guy named Rufus, who was uh, my mom's sister-in-law's dad, right? So we just stayed with him, and that's where we're moving all over, and we moved to Pine Bluff because that was where Gentry and Travis's dad lived. So I don't know if there was like some kind of rekindling of, you know,
Yeah. Of
or just
course.
that. So we were just all over the place. It felt like, but the younger parts of my year, like between 4, 5, and 6, it was crazy. But I was always at Mike's. It was crazy, but until we moved from there, like that was like a safe spot. But then we're just moving all over after that. Um,
What was your, I'm just really curious on this. What was your relationship with like your mom at the time? Like, was it, were you like your little cuddle bug kind of dude? Like, was it super lovey? You know what I mean? Like, did you have kind of, if you want to share that, I guess I'm putting you on the
I,
spot, but like,
when I look
I
back,
want to know.
when
Yeah.
I look back on it, I don't really feel like I didn't hate my mom, but I did resent and and so and I'll tell you why. So we went from like Cecil and Rufus, and and my mom drank. Like that's what she wanted. Like that was honestly what felt like her primary want in life is was to drink. Um, so we're doing all this moving around and all this stuff, and we finally land in Knoxville, Arkansas. Uh, and she had met a guy named Robert. I told you before, I don't like Robert. I don't have
Yeah.
too many good things to say about Robert, but um, Robert was like her. Just wanted to drink, like that was it. So, um, so cuddle bug stuff, no, wasn't really, wasn't my thing. Had some resentment there because, like, that just didn't feel like a. It's wild to say that at Mike's, it felt like there was more love in the house
Mm-hmm.
than there was at Robert's. But like Robert, I was an inconvenience. Like they'd have been happy just having my mom there and me being gone. Like that would have
Mm-hmm.
been Whereas Mike, I felt like was like, this is my kid, like kind of
His
treat me that way.
stepdad in it. Yeah.
Yeah, like so. Um, that's kind of the difference I felt. I don't know if I talked to Travis if he would feel that same way. But
Do you
uh,
remember, like structure? Like, sorry, I feel like a
no,
psychologist here, but like, do you feel like, did you have bedtimes, and like, do you remember having to like sit down and eat? Like, I just kind of look at how we handle our kids now, and then like,
Yeah. So
what
like
was missing then?
at Mike's there was like it was almost like you have the week,
Yeah.
like during the week, and things were like got to do it this way, like, and
He's
then
a
the
working
weekend,
man. Yeah.
yeah, and then the weekend was like work
Party.
hard, I'm gonna play hard,
Yeah.
and when you say play hard, like real hard.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what that, but like Robert, they his thing was come home, start drinking right away. My mom had probably been drinking half the day already, and there wasn't, like go find something in the fridge or things like that. But I brought this up to my mom once. I'm like, you know what growing up like with him was like, and I explained to her like there was never anything in the house to eat. Like, um, I remember if you open the fridge up, there's beer, mustard, and mayonnaise in the fridge. And if
Yeah.
we were lucky, there was like some saltines and some bread. And so I remember making mayonnaise and cracker sandwiches and putting it between bread. Like that was, sometimes that was dinner. And she like argued with me, and it's just like they don't want to, she's never wanted to face,
Yeah.
those situations. But I'm like, what are you talking about? Like so now we're kind of rolling into 6, 7, 8. We've had some of this moving around and stuff, and my mom was with Robert for a while, so I would say late first grade through fourth grade. Right, they were together, and it was constant fighting, moving from different place to different place, and we kind of got to a point where I was in the same school for a few years, which was kind of wild. But just because I was in the same school didn't mean we were not in the same town, or
Mm-hmm.
not in the same house, or whatever I'm trying to say there. Like we were constantly moving. um but at that point, about that time, my older sister started living with her boyfriend, and I think she was 14 or 15. so
Wow.
so she moved in with her boyfriend who was living with his grandma, and so
Jesus.
yeah,
Yeah. Whoa.
which actually it kind of builds up to why I, when I was put in foster care. But so anyway, um, Robert, don't like him. Trying to go back to, like this is, that conversation I was having with my mom. I'm like, we didn't have anything to eat, like things like, oh, we always did too, blah blah blah. Well, I remember her selling food stamps for cash, like right, so she could go buy beer, go do whatever. And we
Yeah.
lived in a dry county in Arkansas, which means that they can't sell alcohol there. So you'd have to go over to the next county to buy alcohol, which seems a lot safer to have those people drinking and driving on the way back.
Yeah.
So no, you think about that. Um, but there was legit bootleggers. Like you would go to somebody's house and they're like, yeah, like sell
Liquor
you a 30
store.
pack of beer. Yeah. And they would take food stamps because they can, and this is back before it was a card. Like you could
Oh
get the
yeah.
little coupon things. So, you know, for $40 in food stamps, yeah, you could have
Yeah.
a 30 pack of beer.
Which
And
is, well, from my side, not to like switch it up, but it's like I've seen my mom do the same
yeah, I
thing. So
know.
it's like, all right, the government, we have two examples here, two different people across the country using your food stamps as currency. You got to figure
Yeah.
something else out.
Yeah. Like this is to
Yeah.
feed kids, which thankfully they did have food stamps, and I think that's something, not to get on a political rant, but take care of
Yeah.
those kids. They didn't ask for that. So anyway, my sister lived with her boyfriend, and we're kind of in and out of places all over, moving from town to town. Um, we this is no no joke. We ended up moving in with my sister's boyfriend
What?
and his grandma. Like, so we're
With
living,
your mom?
yeah, with my mom, Robert, my brother. Like, I'm like, what is it, So it was just kind of, so anyway, it just years of that, or, the next couple years of that. And, yeah, it is kind of wild. So lots of different things there. But I'm gonna just kind of fast forward to what happened, foster care, and getting to Iowa, and then we can kind of wrap some of this up.
Okay.
But so my sister, living with her boyfriend, gets pregnant, right? Big surprise. You're letting a 14 or 15-year-old move in. So she has my niece when I'm 9, right? So my mom, my brother, Robert, we're living in an apartment. I can remember the apartment. I could drive you right there if we went to Russellville. I could take you right to this apartment. And
Google Map it sometime. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Oh, I get.
We got to get better on the web.
Yeah, we'll share our screen and start driving there. So anyway, my sister has this baby. She wants nothing to do with my mom at the time. She splits up from her boyfriend. So now she's 16, baby, homeless. She moves in with Mike and Mike's new wife, right? So Mike's doing what he can to help. Like I said, Mike, decent dude, had his own demons, lots of, all that stuff. Decent dude, whatever. So, anyway, my mom, and this is, Robert, this is an every night deal, right? They're smashed all the time. Like, it's kind of fend for yourself. My brother Travis did a good job of, like, kind of protecting me. And I told him, like, I sent him a message one day because we don't have necessarily the greatest relationship. We don't talk, right? Like, you and I talk. He and I were just two separate people, don't share much. So I've been trying to talk to him more lately and message and things, but I just told him, I was like, hey, I don't know if I ever told you this, but when we were younger, you loved watching scary movies. They scared the shit out of me. But when you would fall asleep, every night I'd scoot as close as I could on the floor to the couch that you were sleeping on because I knew you'd protect me, So kind of tell him that.
Yeah, that kind of. I mean, Travis showed you how to be a big brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, cool. So he's amazing. He's a good guy. I don't, it's like he defends my mom, and I don't know why he would do, I don't understand it, but yeah. Love him to death. So anyway, he took care of me. One of those nights, my mom's smashed, and she's like, "Hey, I want you to go to the payphone, and I want you to call because we didn't have a phone. We didn't have anything. I want you to call your sister. I want to see the baby." I'm 9. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'll go to the payphone." So, take the dime or whatever it was at the time to make the phone call. So I walk up to the gas station. Well, walking up to the gas station, I had to cross a 4-lane highway that had turn lanes in the middle, right? So, there's no crosswalk, so I cross it. Like I wait, I cross. I'm not dumb. But the gas station I was at, the phone didn't work. Well, across the main road in Russellville was a price chopper or price cutter, which is essentially a Hy-Vee kind of
Yeah.
So they had a payphone. So major intersection, right? And I wait for my turn to walk across there, green light, and get in there. And I call, and I'm talking to my sister on the phone. I'm like, "Hey, mom wants to see the baby, blah, 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 blah." And so she's asking questions and stuff. Well, at this point, I don't know what's going on. Like, I'm just talking to her on the phone, like trying to get her to come visit mom. And next thing I know, 2 cops walk up to me. And
wow.
I'm like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
They're like, "Are you Ryan?" And I'm like, "Yeah." Like, so
Good
anyway,
guess.
Yeah. How'd you know?
How the hell?
Yeah. So what I understand is Gentry was talking to Mike and his what, like, "Hey, he's at, what's going on?" So it's funny. My 16-year-old sister had more sense about me walking across all this stuff and doing this thing.
So she called it in.
So her and Mike, I call Mike my stepdad. I don't know, at this point he's not technically my stepdad, but do they ever not become step parents? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway, they called the cops. Cops take me to the police station, and it turns into this all-night deal, right? Well, I don't know if the cops ever went to my mom or anything like that. I don't know what the backstory was there. But here I am in this police station. My sister and Mike show up, and Mike's wife, and they're trying. Well, what are we going to do now? What do we do now? And that, so cops have me go with Mike to his house. Like, and the crazy part is, like, I've been shot at by this dude. He's sending me with it, which is wild. So we go back to Mike's, and I'm there for a night. And I don't know if it was 2 nights or whatever, but there's some stuff I don't know on my mom's side what's going on. I'm sure there's some chaos, like where's this kid at, or maybe she just never got undrunk to know that I was gone. But the cops are like, hey, he can't stay here. Like, this is, going to be a huge court issue anyways.
Yeah.
Like, so, and you're not a foster parent, you don't have the licenses you need and all that stuff. And this is the wildest part of it is somehow they knew a couple that were foster parents, and they're like, is there any way he could stay with them? Like, they're good people. I don't even know who this was. So they gave the family a call, and they're like, we're actually full, but one of the kids is gone with his family for a few days, so we'd be able to take him for a few days until things get figured out. And so that's where Charlie and Robin came from. So they take me, I get transported there. Some DHS person takes me to their house. So at 9, I just basically got taken from my mom's house, stayed at my stepdad's house, and now they're taking me to a house where I don't even know anybody. And I'm just like, okay, this is, senses kind of, it's crazy. And you know that because you've had that same situation.
Yeah.
So they had a daughter at home. She was little. At the time, she was probably like 4 or 5. And so I'm 9. They have an older kid that was like 13 that was with them. He was there because his parents were like, we're tired of him. Like, we can't keep him under control. So he was there with them to kind of give the parents a break or something. I don't know how that all works. So that was, I was there for about a month, I think, maybe a little longer. So Charlie had a country machine shop, so he did engine repairs and stuff like that. And so during the day, I went over to the machine shop because it was in the summer, and just hung out with him while he's repairing motors and stuff. And so now I'm going out and looking for something to do. Well, there's some horses there, and so I reach up to the fence to go pet the horse. Zap the crap out of me. I had no idea that it was an electric fence. And he come running out because apparently when you touch the fence, an alarm goes off in his shop. And so he had a good laugh about that. But yeah. So we had that, and then he had a 4-wheeler there that I rode around a lot during the days. And they had a fishing or a pond. So I think his mom lived across the street from his shop, and they had a pond in the back. And I probably spent 2 weeks straight bass fishing, and we cleaned that, like, it felt like we cleaned that pond out.
Yeah.
And then he took all those fish and cleaned them, and we had a big old fish fry with it and everything.
Nice.
It was a pretty cool experience. So so he was good. Robin was awesome. Just had it was calm. Like, and that was probably the first time in my life that I was like calm, like, so that was an experience. But he had me take apart a carburetor one time, and he's like, why can't you put it back together? I'm like, because I'm 9, I don't even know what this thing is. Like, I was just pulling screws apart, man. Little side story. I did reach out to their daughter. I don't know, it's probably 5 or 6 years ago, which in my mind is 5 or 6, but it's probably been longer than that. And Danny, she tries not to push the issue, but she's like, you really should reach out to him.
Yeah.
But that was the first bit of normalcy, right? Like, so anyway, I need to back up a second though, because the part that determined I was going to foster care. So they asked about Robin and Charlie, and that was the conversation. But between there, I had a social worker take me back to the apartment for my mom, right? So, and I don't know what the conversation, I don't know what. I go in with the lady. We're sitting there on the couch. My mom, I don't know if my brother was there, Robert was there, but they were having a conversation way over my head. And then the next thing I know, my mom physically grabs this lady and throws her out of the apartment, right? And she's like locking, and I'm in panic mode. Like, I don't know So I watch this happen. I see her lock the front door and that lady. And I'm just thinking, I don't even know what I was thinking. But at that point, it was fight or flight. And I just remember bolting for the back door of the apartment. And when you walked out of the back of the apartment, there was a fence, and it felt like a tall fence. I don't know if it was, but about 20 feet of yard. And I jumped. I climbed that fence, jumped over, and I just took off running. And I don't know the people that were in the backyard, but I remember I was tearing this lady's garden up, flying through there, and I'm like tripping over because she had like strings and stuff for plants to grow on and all that. And I'm tripping over all of it and and then I jump another fence and make it through some yards. And then I go running out in the middle of a road, and this car slams on the brakes. And I'm in the middle of the road, almost like a movie. That's how I remember it. And I look, and it was the DHS lady. And I just run to her car and get in the passenger seat. And I got mud all over me and everything.
What
and I don't
the
even know.
heck?
I don't even remember this lady's name, but she was like, what the, So, and that's
this poor lady.
Yeah. So that's, and she's on the phone trying to, or whatever. I don't, what are those called? The beepers, pagers.
Yeah.
I don't know. But and I'm like, I'm in the car, and she takes off, and obviously, I don't know what happened to my mom after that, all that good stuff. So that's when, a month later, I go to a court case, or go into court, and there's Dad, and I'm like, and I walk in, and I don't know if I can talk to my mom. I don't know if I can talk to my dad, and so I'm like, Robin, can I talk to my dad? And she's like, yeah. So Robin was awesome, and that's when I met Bob.
Wow.
So
going back to that, because it's like the what's the word for it? Like, to be so scared to be in a house with your own mom. Whoa.
Well,
that's insane. That's insane.
And it was just like he's looking for calm,
yeah, you made that decision, like, I got to get out of here, which is, you said what, 9, 8?
Yeah. 9 at the time. Yeah.
If you would have sat in there, maybe it's harder case for him because it looks like you want to be there and
But at that point, is it kidnapping?
Yeah.
Because
you just stole.
I'm in the state's care, and you just, I don't know what all that stuff is. I've never really, I don't know. But I'll tell you, the month or whatever that I got to spend with Charlie and Robin was the first time in my life that I had structure built into some things.
Yeah.
There was, just it felt right. It felt normal. And whether they were normal or not, or they had their own demons, they treated me well. I remember the room I had. They put the little stars up on the ceiling, the glow in the dark stars.
Yeah.
And this is gonna bring out my autistic tendencies, but I'm really good with numbers and patterns and things like that. Well, I could see in the stars they had wrote out "We love you," on the ceiling, and I had said something to her about it, like, "Hey, I saw that," and she's like, "You're the first person that's ever noticed that."
Whoa.
And so yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, they were awesome. So anyway, moving to Iowa with Dad and Bob, like it wasn't much different than what I had come from because
Yeah. D
that was so
Street.
volatile too. Yeah. Well, even before that. So when we lived up on A Avenue, I think is what it was called. But like they were fighting and stuff all the time. And I remember the one I remember the most was Dad had come home from the bar, and she was a bartender or something. But anyway, they're fighting, and Dad's trying to get away from her, and he comes up and lays down in bed with me, and like locks the bedroom door to kind of protect us and stuff. And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're here again. But anyway, I remember her in the background, like, I'm going to call the cops. You'll never see your kid again. And just all this stuff. And I'm just like,
Traumatized you.
I'm like, par for the course, man. You can't hurt it now. Like,
Yeah.
but you just, I don't know, you look for some of those things. But I remember, so I was going to Webster Elementary in Oskaloosa, and Dad had left her, and we went and stayed with John, his best friend. And I had missed a day at school, and then the next day we were able to, I was going in there, and my teacher's like, "Oh, they found you," and, and I looked confused, like because I didn't know what was going on. Well, she had called the school and told them that I ran away, not that, like instead of just leaving it alone and letting my dad deal with it
Yeah.
about me missing school, she called the school and told them that I had ran away. So, which I mean, is kind of normal for what it is. But we've been on here way too long. This wasn't supposed to be as long.
Nah, that's good.
But
wait.
So that's a.
Oh, go ahead.
So you have any weird questions on like, dude?
No, I asked them as they came up because they were
okay.
There was a lot that I wanted to know, diving in deeper to stuff, but I don't know. I was gonna add to it's like, the structure thing is something that we're pretty prideful as parents, Caitlyn and I. We have routines on everything, but especially going to bed. It's like we're gonna lay down, read a book, we might play around a little bit, and then go to bed. And it's like, it's crazy that we get to do that with Johnnie since he's been born. And you didn't really get that until you were like 9, and it was for a glimpse, right? And it's like, just, I guess, being grateful for that. Rhett will never know, Johnnie will never know, Mac will never know that, what a blessing those structured times are, and the calmness of the families we're creating. So it's, as they're watching this, maybe 20 years, like I'm wishing it's like, I hope they get that.
But I think about like, it was almost like when you live in the chaos like that, you embrace the chaos. Like I think about some of my friendships and some of my, girlfriends in high school.
Yeah.
And like, you create the chaos because that's normal. That's what you know.
Yeah.
And then when you find out that that's not.
Yeah. So, what everyone else has been living.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go through and I just need to probably splash those 2 videos together. But I wasn't going to let everybody see me ball bag for a little bit. So sorry, guys.
I was going to share one positive thing before we depart. It's never good to leave on.
Oh, absolutely. Let's do that. But I'm just saying, I'm cutting that crap out other than.
Boom.
There it is.
Now you don't have to pen it. We're going to get better at doing this.
So 30 minutes after that, Danny's puking on the side of the road.
No longer smiling.
Yeah, those were forced smiles.
Yeah.
And then probably 3 hours after that, I couldn't walk. So, but
that's cool.
That was a fun time,
dude. We're gonna have this photo with our nieces and nephews. That's gonna be sweet.
I'm so looking forward to it.
Yeah,
it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, I love this photo.
Yeah.
Were you guys parents at this point?
Yes.
So you had a sitter?
Yep.
That's cool.
I'm not sure who had Mac that day or that weekend. It was probably her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That would be my guess. Anyway, threw those shoes away too.
Yeah, we're gonna have to game plan the shoes.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Quentin and Gavin, if you're watching, you're gonna have to find some old shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yep, good stuff.
That's a wrap.
So, yeah, I love you. I do enjoy talking to you about all the fun stuff.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to get this one out of the way because I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. So
yeah, I feel the same with some of mine. I don't want to talk about it.
I've been like, there's questions, so when we have people ask questions, and I'm like, all right, I'll like, we're getting there, I'll get it, and yeah, so
yeah, that comes sparingly. I feel like after the first one, I was like emotionally exhausted. I didn't want to do the next one. I'm like,
yeah,
but it was cool. It's all good
for sure.
Well,
all right, man.
Have a great week.
You.
Love you too.
Yep, I'll text you. Probably give you a call. All that good stuff. I'm gonna need another song too. Just so I'm gonna take over the leave on a happy note. So I asked a week ago for some songs.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta find this here.
It's gonna get DMCA'd if you play it.
I'm not gonna play
okay.
it.
There you're gonna play it.
No. But I gotta find it on my, because I had so many awesome people send stuff. And a lot of awesome phones. But Beautiful Things. Check that out. Awesome song. It's by Benson Boone. So, Beautiful Things. Mm-hmm. Mac knew it already, so you're not as cool as you thought you were.
No, I didn't.
The kids already knew it.
It's trending. I just keep up to date with the trending, dude.
All right. Well, keep me informed on that. So
I will.
All right. I gotta go get my kids to bed. I'm guessing they're still up. They think it's amazing we do a podcast.
Yeah.
So
keep it rolling. Man. All right.
Yep. Love it.
Love you too. Bye.
All right. Bye.